What's up, y'all? Welcome to Original Gamers Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Ryan, and I'm joined today, as always, by Nolan Brown.
Hey, everybody.
And Joel Watt.
Hello, friends.
This week, we're going to be talking about Super Metroid, but before we get into that, if you're listening to this fairly close to when we actually released it, and I realize that one of the awesome things about this podcast is we talk about old games, so you can kind of go listen to any of these episodes almost whenever you want to. And it doesn't really matter, but we do want to take a few minutes to talk about E3 2016, because that just happened, and we're gamers, and even though we talk about old games, we've been following it, and so I asked each of the guys to pick one thing about E3 that wasn't Zelda, because I'm almost positive that all three of us are going to freak out over that at some time during this show. So
I already did.
Yeah. That game is so stinking beautiful looking. I cannot wait. If I didn't already own a Wii U, of course it's coming out for NX, and I'm planning to get an NX. But if it weren't, that it just looks amazing and beautiful. But anyway, moving on from that, let's Nolan, what's one thing from E3 that really caught your attention and that you're excited about?
For me, it was obviously Zelda, because but also for me it was talking more a little bit about the new Monster Hunter, which is it's coming out next month, so it's not real far ahead, but it's Monster Hunter is definitely, it's one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. It's just just talking about how basically they're making it a greatest hits, which is really cool. So it's basically going to be taking a lot of the old stuff that weren't in a lot of the more recent games and putting them in, and having a couple new things, because it's a new game, so they gotta have something new. And they're bringing back a lot of the old monsters that we haven't seen since the first game, so that's really cool. And it seems like there'll be some other cooler combat. There's new combat stuff that you can do, with any weapon. That's okay, it's this style, so that's going to affect the way you attack and and how you specialize in attack, kind of thing. So that was my big thing that I was excited about. So.
Yeah, I've got both Monster Hunter 3 and 4 for 3DS, and I've other than the first hour of each of them, I'd never progressed any further because they're just so overwhelming. And I know that you're a big fan of them, and you've tried a few times to get me to hop online with you and play Monster Hunter 4, and that's something that I do really, really want to do, because I understand that the games are pretty incredible, especially considering that they're on 3DS.
Yeah,
they're pretty big, and so this isn't Monster Hunter 5, right? It's called
this
something
is
else.
Monster Hunter Generations.
Okay.
Or X if you're in Japan.
See, and I didn't know that about this one, and that's pretty neat for 3DS owners, because the first couple of Monster Hunters were on PlayStation Portable or something.
Well, the first one was actually on the PS2. And it was one of the first games on the PS2 where you actually had online multiplayer.
Oh, wow.
Which was pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
But that one I never had. The first one I had was on the PSP.
Mm-hmm.
So, PlayStation Portable, I should specify, I guess.
Yeah.
That my buddy was like, hey, we should play this. It'll be cool, and we can play together. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure. And then it was pretty cool. I didn't play a whole lot of it, because we'd never had time to do a lot. And then when 3 came out for the Wii, there was a special edition. I'm like, I'm getting this. And it, just renewed, love of that game, and I've had everyone that's come out in America ever since. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I remember when 3 came out on the Wii, like they were really trying to push the Classic Controller Pro instead of the Wii Remote and Nunchuck.
It's so much easier to play it with the Classic Controller, because that's what the bundle was.
The bundle came with the controller, as opposed to the Nunchuck. Because Capcom was like, "Yeah, you can play with this, but it's way better with this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed playing 3, actually both 3 and 4 on my 3DS, because I had them before I got a new 3DS, that without that second stick for the camera, it's really difficult. And I went back and played 4 for a little bit after I got the new 3DS, and it's got that weird nub on it. And even though the nub feels weird, it made the game feel so much better and easier to control. So yeah, definitely we'll have to hop on 4 sometime, and then maybe when this new one comes out, I'll pick it up. All right, Joel, what do you got? What excites you?
Okay, so The Last Guardian finally has a release date. I have been expecting this game for, I want to say
years?
5 years. Well, 10 years really, but at least 5 years when it the first theatric trailer was released. And it was supposed to be on PS3. It's made by Team Ico, so the same people who made Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. It was supposed to be on PS3.
Yeah, they are.
Those 2 games were both on PS2, and then it kept getting delayed, and finally, the PS4 gets announced, and so Team Ico is like, well, we're gonna make it for PS4 instead. So it got pushed back even further, and it disappeared for at least a year before, after the PS4 was announced, it disappeared. Nobody heard any news, and then they had to renew their copyright or something like that. I don't remember. It didn't get renewed, and so they had to go through the whole process again. And people were like, "Oh no, it's canceled! It'll never come out!" People were freaking out, but they've done everything to keep it all good and well, and so finally this year at E3 they've announced a release date. It's solid. It's set in stone. You can pre-order it at bestbuy.com right now. Or wherever you pre-order your games. There's a special edition, collector's bundle. That's not the right combination of words. There's a special collector's edition that is double the price, but it comes with a really big figurine of the Last Guardian and your character. And the Guardian thing is I would say twice the size of an elephant, and you play a small human being,
very small human being.
Yeah. And so your character is tiny compared to this thing, and of course it's all to scale. So and I think the statue is 12 inches long or something like that. It's huge, and it comes with an art book and a digital copy of the soundtrack. Yeah. So it's really cool. I don't know if I'm going to get the special edition. I don't know if I can justify the price for what you get, but I am definitely interested in this game. I really, really want it, because I've been waiting for a game like this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been years.
That game's been on my radar. As somebody who doesn't usually align himself with PlayStation properties, I loved Shadow of the Colossus. I have the HD collection that's got that, and is it Ico or Ico?
Yes.
Okay.
I've heard it as Ico. I used to call it Ico, but that's mostly because I played Jack and Daxter, and that was Ico stuff. So
yeah,
that was probably just me.
But I'm absolutely in love with Shadow of the Colossus. So I've been paying attention to this game, and fortunately I have a PS4, even though I don't use it very much. So when this game comes out, I'll be able to check it out and enjoy it. Okay, so I am one of the biggest fans of Titanfall that I've ever met. I
No.
love that
Yeah,
game.
you are.
The game
Really?
is and yes, every time somebody brings up its many problems, I'm not like, no, it's not like no, it absolutely was light on content. It cost too much for what you got. The season pass, even though I paid for it, was way too much for what little content that you got. I acknowledge all of those things, and I was part of the problem because I paid for all of it. And then now I didn't do it again on PC. It was $10 on PC through Origin one day, and you got all the DLC for free. So I was like, well, okay, I've already got it for Xbox One, but I like this game enough, and most of my friends are playing it on PC, so I'll go ahead and spend the $10. So all in all, I spent between the X1 version and the PC version, I spent probably over $100 on this game, and I'm pretty sure the only game I've ever spent that much money on is Smash Brothers for Wii U, because I bought all the DLC for that
Yeah, same
also.
here.
I don't know what
Um,
you're gonna say, Chrono Trigger.
Considering how many versions of Chrono Trigger I have, there's a good chance I've spent over $100 on that.
I was gonna say.
So we'll say that Smash Brothers, Wii U, Titanfall, and Chrono Trigger. So yeah, so I'm super stoked about Titanfall 2, and I don't usually, when I get excited for a game, pay a whole lot of attention to like trailers and stuff, because a lot of times the trailers are not always representative of the final game when they come out, and I don't want to be like super excited for something that doesn't wind up happening. But I just drank everything of Titanfall 2 that came out for E3, which honestly wasn't a whole lot. It was a quick multiplayer campaign. There was a quick single player campaign trailer, but EA spent most of their time talking about Battlefield 1, which I'm also excited about, but so Titanfall 2 didn't get a whole ton of attention, but that's just, I'm so excited for that. I'm really hoping, and this actually plays into, I'm going to kind of cheat and talk about another thing that got mentioned at E3 that's got me excited, but it's not a game. Microsoft is really pushing this kind of platform agnostic network where people who are playing on an Xbox can play with people. Now, while they never actually said PlayStation or Nintendo on their stage, they were very careful to be as generic as possible. And you can already play most of the future Xbox One's games that are coming out are also going to be on PC. I know a lot of people were like, well, that just means I don't have a reason to buy an Xbox One anymore. I guess I get where you're coming from, but you still have people who don't want to spend $1,000 on a gaming PC. And as someone who does want to spend $1,000 on a gaming PC, I don't necessarily want to have a $1,000 gaming PC in my office and in my living room. So I'll be able to play both these, like Gears of War in my living room if I want to. And if someone's watching Netflix in there and I want to go play it on my PC, I can. So I see the benefits of it. I see it as more of a good thing than a bad thing. But, Rocket League, you can already play Xbox One, PC, and PS4 players are playing together. You can't talk to each other cross-network, and you can't find your friends cross-network yet. I don't know that will ever happen, but I like that that's kind of where Microsoft is going. I'm not sure how interested Sony is in it, because honestly, the PS4 is selling like gangbusters. They don't necessarily need to care if people are playing with Xbox One fans. And of course, Nintendo's going to do what Nintendo's going to do. I have no idea what they're going to do with NX. But I like that Microsoft, not just one of the biggest video game developers and publishers in the world, but one of the largest technology creators in the world, is really on board with this, it not mattering what device you're on. And they brought up Minecraft specifically. Minecraft, you're now going to be able to play, if I'm on my Android device and Joel is playing on his PC. And Nolan's playing on his Xbox One, we can all play in the same world. And now they said that there was more information about that coming at Minecon, and I have been theorizing that more information is that PlayStation and Wii U are involved in this, and that Microsoft just wasn't okay with them specifically calling out those two platforms on their E3 stage, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's coming, and it's happening, and I'm really excited about that, and I hope that Titanfall 2 falls into this. Titanfall 2 is an EA game, so it's not specifically part of Microsoft, so I don't know what they'll do. But I like the idea that, with Titanfall 1, I bought it on Xbox One because that's where I was comfortable playing it, but then I wound up buying it on PC because that's where my friends were. I'd like it if I could just buy it on Xbox One, and now it doesn't matter. I can play with the people on PC. I can play with the people on PS4. Sure, the people on PC will crush me because I'm playing with a controller, but guess what? I'm playing Titanfall 1 on PC with a controller, and they're still crushing me, and I still like it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just... I'm excited about that, and I hope that that's kind of where this is headed. So, yeah, really big things. It's a good time to be a gamer, I say. You've got countless options. Countless ways to play games, whether it's on your phone or a console or a PC. You can use Steam, Origin, Xbox Live, PSN, whatever the heck Nintendo's doing. Yeah, Uplay. Which apparently Ubisoft is giving games away on Uplay, and I should probably check that out because I have a Uplay account and I haven't checked it.
Never.
There you go.
I might have a Uplay account, but I don't know if I've ever logged into it.
The only reason
same thing
is because Watch Dogs forced me to get one.
Why did you buy that game?
Because I drank.
Because it was super exciting and cool looking and stuff.
And then I played it for an hour, and I was like, I just want this Aiden guy to die. He's the worst person.
It's the dumbest motivation too.
Yeah, it's.
Anyway,
I hope
whatever.
Watch Dogs 2 turns out better. But anyway, so
yeah.
That's E3, and then of course Breath of the Wild.
Oh my
gosh. It's it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of Western RPGs, and I remember Alnuma was talking about learning from Western developers and kind of utilizing that. And when he was talking about that early on, that kind of worried me because I'm like, I don't want the Elder Scroll, The Legend of Zelda. That's not what I want. But it looks like they took the Elder Scrolls and all the crap I don't like about that game, they replaced it with Zelda. And I'm like, yep, I'm sold. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It's just going to be... And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about it because we've gone on long enough on this Shooting the Breeze segment. And honestly, I don't think anything that either me, Nolan, or Joel could tell you about it would do it any justice. You need to go watch the trailers. Pull up some of the Treehouse demos. It's just so good. And it's kind of incredible to me that a game of this scale is on Wii U, considering how underpowered it is compared to everything. And it was already surprising to me that Xenoblade Chronicles X is bigger than Fallout 4 and bigger than Skyrim and bigger than all of these games that we point to as these are the biggest games in gaming, like the environment. I mean, how much land mass there is. That Xenoblade Chronicles X is not just bigger than those, but significantly bigger than those. And Zelda looks like it's just following right in its footsteps.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited.
So if that's the case, I really hope they give you that same option of downloading it to your hard drive, even if you have the physical copy.
To make it faster.
Make it run faster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Cool. Okay. Super Metroid. Let's talk about that. I don't know that we saw any Metroid at E3 except for, did they show that Federation Force thing at all?
I don't think so. That was mainly just last year.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah, I know it's still coming out this year.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people were hating on it because that's what gamers do. They see things they don't like. They hate on it.
I remember that because then Reggie was like, "Hey, remember Wind Waker? You're all like, this looks stupid," and then you played it and you loved it. Yeah, right. So we know what we're doing. So shut up.
And then
that was actually really funny.
That was great.
Not only did you buy the crap out of it on GameCube, you did it again on Wii U. So
for sure.
Shut up.
Yeah. Mine is still in the packaging actually.
GameCube or Wii U?
The Wii U version.
Okay.
Hey, but it's there.
I don't have the GameCube version anymore, sadly.
Oh.
Yeah, me neither.
Gave it away like a fool.
Oh well. You just blessed some other
my nephew.
There you go. Okay, Super Metroid. Let's do this. So, this game's developed by Nintendo R&D 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's published by Nintendo.
Yep.
And Nolan, is this your game to pick?
Yeah,
you
this is my game to pick.
Right, that's right, because you hadn't picked one when we got to
Yeah,
the
and
questions
it was
last week.
super
All right,
funny.
So I'm gonna give you the responsibility of saying the name of the director.
Okay. Director is Yoshio Sakamoto.
Yoshio Sakamoto.
Yoshio Sakamoto. That sounded bad. I'm sorry.
Is it offensive to do that? I don't even know.
I don't know. I was just thinking. I was like, that might be. I don't know.
We'll find out.
But he did most of the. Actually, yeah, the Metroid games. After Super Metroid,
Mhm.
except for the Prime trilogy.
Right.
But, yeah.
I was gonna say you say most of the Metroid, but that list.
Yeah,
is
then I think about
thin.
that. That's not a lot.
It's because the one right after this one was Metroid Prime, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or no, Zero Mission came out first.
Oh yeah. The kind of remake
The
of
remake
the first game that had all the Super Nintendo controls and stuff in it. So
Yeah.
okay. I'll go ahead and take this. Producer here is Makoto Kano. Or Kano. I like Kano. So that's his new name. Whether that's really what it is or not. Okay, art directors. Joel. Would you like the first one?
Hirofumi Matsuoka.
Indeed. And then you got Masahiko Mishimo. Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it, Nolan, this next guy.
And Hiroyuki Kimura.
We're getting so good at pronouncing these names that it's not as much fun anymore. I did it better when we were bad at this.
Right?
Okay, so then the composers were Kenji Yamamoto and Minako Hamano. Now, are these gentlemen still involved with
Let's
this
just check
series? I assume they, even if they were with the Prime series, it was probably more as supervisor than, since Prime was developed by Retro, and that's a company based out of Texas.
Kenji Yamamoto also did music for I guess it says for many of the Metroid series, but also mainly Super Metroid and the Prime trilogy. So he did he was a main part in doing that.
There's a guy that has the exact same name that's done a lot of music for the Dragon Ball video games.
Oh, really?
Not the same guy.
Oh, okay.
Same exact name does the
That'd be
same thing.
Huh.
Okay, so this particular Kenji Yamamoto has done Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
I was just thinking that. I was
Super
like, wow.
Metroid, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Metroid Prime, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, Metroid Prime Pinball, Brain Age 2, Metroid Prime Hunters, Excite Truck, wow, Metroid Prime 3, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Pilot Wings Resort, Gun Country Returns, Rhythm Heaven Fever.
Wow.
Donkey Kong
Quite a
Country
resume.
Returns 3D,
Yeah, Tropical Freeze,
Smash
Smash
Bros.
Brothers 4, Mario Tennis, Ultra Smash. Yeah, so he's done a lot of little things on all these games. He hasn't been main composer.
Yeah.
And since he helped with Prime, I guess it makes sense that he was involved in the Donkey Kong Country Returns games.
Yeah,
Because there's also
Same
Retro Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, Metroid Prime, and I didn't play all the way through 2, but I did play all the way through 3. They of course use some of the more iconic pieces of music from Metroid, specifically the theme that's always in the lava sections.
Yeah. Da,
It's-
da, 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 da. Yeah, that one.
It's you'll hear that in pretty much every Metroid game
Yeah, pretty much.
that there is. All right, creators, go for it, Nolan.
Makoto Kano.
Which was the producer? Yep. And then here's a familiar name.
Yeah.
Gunpei Yokoi.
Gunpei Yokoi, who we talked quite a bit about last week.
Yeah.
On Super Mario Land, and that's I promise that was pure coincidence, especially since Nolan thought up his game last week on the fly.
Yeah, literally, like on the fly. I'm like, oh wait.
It's not like he went, I know what I'll do. I'll make this connection. Nope, it just happened. And then Hiroji Ki. Wow, here I was talking about how good we got at this, and this one's kind of stuff. Kiyotake. Or Kayotake, sure.
Kayotake.
And then Yoshio Sakamoto, who was the director of the game. So, yep. Moving on to platforms and release dates.
I'd like to point out that Miyamoto is not involved in this game. Even though this is an iconic Nintendo franchise, Miyamoto's not involved in this.
Yeah.
It's not very often.
One of the few.
Mm-hmm. And he wasn't involved in last week's either.
No.
Yeah. You know what it is? Him and Gunpei Yokoi just didn't like each other.
I don't start that rumor.
I doubt that. I'm just teasing. Yeah. So, all right. Platforms and release dates. It was originally released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in Japan on March 19th, 1994. North America, April 18th, 1994, and PAL regions, July 28th, 1984. That's a pretty tight grouping there.
I noticed that when I was putting them up there. I'm like, oh, hey, this is pretty close proximity.
I guess there wasn't a whole lot to localize.
Like, that's pretty good for back then.
Yeah, but other than like the title screen, there probably wouldn't have been a whole lot to localize.
There's really not a lot of text or anything, so it's...
there's a prologue. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a very quick.
Yeah.
The beginning.
Real quickly, yeah, there is.
Is there an epilogue too?
Kind of. There's mission report.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of. It's more credits at that point.
Right. And then Virtual Console, it was Wii, Japan, September 20th, 2007. North America, August 20th, 2007. In Europe, October 12th, 2007. Hey, we got it on Virtual Console before Japan did.
Yeah, according to the Metroid Wiki.
By a whole month. Wii U, May 15th through June 13th, 2013. You know, you got trial campaign here. I think this was when... so Wii U didn't launch with a Virtual Console, but when it did come around, there were a select few games that they would release one, I think, every week, or maybe it was every 2 weeks. And for the week that it came out, it was 30 cents. And Super Metroid was one of those games.
Okay.
Probably.
So that's probably where that trial campaign thing comes from. And that's how I acquired it. I never owned this game growing up. The first time I want to say the first time I ever played it was when I got it for Virtual Console for Wii U when it was 30 cents. So
me too, except I didn't get it for 30 cents because I only got my Wii U about a year ago. So
you're a sucker. I'm just kidding. Actually, you could argue that since I bought my Wii U on launch day and paid $350 for it, I'm the sucker.
Yeah.
$250 for the 32 gig and Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, I paid $350 for the 32 gig, and it came with Nintendo Land, which is not a halfway decent game.
Is it? Mine's still in the wrapping.
Yeah, I would if you have it, go ahead and play it. I wouldn't tell anyone to go out and buy it, but if you've got it, there's no reason not to. And it's also way more fun with other people. It's not that fantastic alone. But yeah. And it's on new 3DS XL April 14th, 2016. That was pretty recently. And do want to remind you, if you're looking to buy this game for 3DS, please make sure that you have a new 3DS XL, because I'm pretty sure the eShop does not edit out what you can't play on it if you have a regular 3DS, and the Super Nintendo games only work on the XL. So,
specifically the new ones.
Yes. No, yeah. The
processing
new,
and all
not
that.
The XL, the new 3DS XL. If you're if your 3DS doesn't have a goofy new logo in front of it.
If it doesn't have that
Doesn't
fantastic C-stick nub.
Right. And that sweet 3D eye tracking thing.
Honestly, I like it because now I actually have 3D on.
Yep, it's pretty
Because
tight.
before it was like it would just give me a headache because it wasn't quite.
Never lined up, right?
It's pretty
so
awesome.
It's like, yeah.
And Joel's just like, I don't play handheld, so I don't know what you're talking about.
When I worked at Best Buy, the 3DS came out.
Yeah.
So I played with it a little bit, and I was just like, yeah, this is not that great.
Yeah.
Hey, so speaking of you, I know we're getting off on a tangent here, but you mentioned Best Buy. Was that name tag that I saw you posted on your Facebook page, was that yours?
Yes,
Or is it
okay.
just- okay.
Let
I
me
wanna hear the
explain
story.
that story. So when I moved to Missouri, I took all my stuff with me, and somehow my name tag, which is magnetic, ended up in the rim of the spare tire on the truck. And my buddy in Missouri still drives, and he got a flat and had to change out his tire, and found it years later.
Okay.
I have been back in California for 2.5 years.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know.
See, I thought that it like had a pin and that someone ran it over in the highway or something.
No,
So
no,
did
no.
I.
And I
That's
was
what
like,
I thought
that
it
would have
was.
been
Like,
really
dang.
random.
Yeah.
Magnetic, and it's been stuck on the inside of the spare
Okay.
tire rim for years, just kind of sitting there.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. The last place I remember putting it was on the refrigerator. So I don't know how it ended up there.
That's weird. Anyway, that has nothing to do with Metroid. You mentioned Best Buy, and I remembered that. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about this game. Like I said, I never owned this until recently. I have beat it. I unfortunately did not get to play it this week. Things have been very, very busy. I was hoping to get to play it at least for a little bit because the game's not like you can beat it pretty quickly.
If you know what you're doing, yeah.
Yeah, if you know exactly where to go and don't spend a whole lot of time, dinking around and looking for stuff, you can beat it pretty quick. In fact, I know it's a pretty popular game amongst speedrunners. Let's see, I'm gonna look up here.
So I know what the original is too.
Record.
Yeah. Well, one of the things about this game is it was the first game where people realized you could sequence break. Like, you didn't have to go in the order that was suggested.
Right.
It's not fully open world. There are places that are locked out to you, but if you're really good at the game, you can kind of bypass things and sequence break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so that's why it became popular with speedrunners.
Right. So I'm on speeddemosarchive.com, which I'm going to assume is a pretty good authority on this.
Yeah,
and
they're like
according to this, the best time. I don't understand quite all of this terminology. I'm just going to read what I see here. Best time single segment. It looks like is that 44 minutes and 26 seconds.
Dang.
Going to assume. I'm going to assume that's not 44 seconds and 26 frames because that would be ridiculous. But then you've got the European version. It looks like 34 minutes. Yeah, so I don't follow a lot of speedruns, so I don't entirely understand what I'm looking at. But that seems pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm
44
sure.
minutes.
Because I'm definitely above that right now.
Yeah. It takes me at least an hour, if not, and probably longer than that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I've been stuck for a long time. I'm like, I don't know where to go. So I'm just kind of like, thinking about like 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
Because I've gone over everything multiple times. I'm like, no, that's not a secret area. Nope.
I got stuck a few times, and I told myself I didn't want to use GameFAQs to get through it, but I was open to getting help if I needed it. So since I played it on Wii U, once or twice I remember taking a screenshot and posting it to Miiverse and being like, hey, here's where I am, and I don't know where I need to go. Somebody help me. And pretty quickly, because I kind of thought maybe Miiverse usage had died off the longer the Wii U's been out, but pretty quickly I was getting answers to questions, and I still do. So
Yeah.
if you have a Wii U or a 3DS and you need help and you don't want to use GameFAQs for whatever reason, Miiverse is a fantastic resource for that kind of thing.
I think the main reason is because I have a lot of difficulty doing the wall jumps because I'm not entirely sure how to activate it.
Neither do I.
Like, I know it's something along the lines of you have to do the like spinning jump
Mm-hmm.
and then do something else. And someone even told me and showed me. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing that. So
Yeah, because you
Cool.
can't do it unless you're in the spin. So that means you have to have some momentum before you jump. Otherwise, you don't spin. And then I can never figure out. So you hit the wall and then you hit the other direction plus jump? Or do you have to do all this before you hit the wall?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have no idea because I spent probably 30 minutes trying on a wall. Like, how do I do this? And I still couldn't get it to activate, I think, more than twice.
Right.
So I was just
and there are moments in the game when you have to wall jump or you can't get to the next ledge or whatever it is you're trying to get to. And eventually you get a move where you can, as you're running, you kind of charge up. And if you come to a stop and jump, she'll jump really high, so you could get around. Yeah, you could get around needing to wall jump using that if you have enough area to run.
Like I know there's one area where there's something I can get that will help me get to another area, but I can't wall jump up there, and there's not enough room to do that.
Yeah. And if you use the Shine Spark, though, it uses up your energy. You kind of take damage.
Yeah. So it's
not the best, but it's a way to get around.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I seem to recall that even when they added wall jumping to the other 2D, like when they Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion, I don't remember it being any easier in those. It's almost like they just copied it directly from Super Metroid.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what to do. So,
if you can hold on to the wall, though, can't you?
I think maybe for a brief amount of time. That does sound familiar. I had it, and I played through it one time, because that was the first game where she started kind of getting, Samus started getting kind of chatty, and she had this superior officer that she was having to talk to. It's not quite as bad as what I hear Other M was, but there was a lot of kind of breaks in the action and breaks in doing the puzzles so that you could sit and read text, and it just didn't work.
Gotcha.
So, which fortunately Super Metroid does not have that problem.
Not even.
You are truly alone, and there's literally only reading at the very beginning of the game and the very end of the game. And that is it. Then it's just you and nature and aliens that are trying to murder you.
Yeah.
And you have to murder them first. So, speaking of aliens, this series is very heavily influenced by the Alien series by Ridley Scott. And this goes all the way back to the original Metroid.
Yes, more so for the original, but it's like there's also things in this one where it's like there's essences from Aliens in this game, so it's
right. And of course the antagonist of this game, that is, you've got Ridley, the kind of giant, I don't know, how would you describe
giant purple dragon?
The giant purple dragon, I guess.
Dragon.
Yeah, I guess I always, for some reason, had pterodactyl in my mind, but dragon makes more sense.
I think there's like parts. He looks very especially in probably because you've been playing Smash for Wii U.
Okay, think about this. 200 years ago, if you saw a pterodactyl in real life, what would you call it?
I guess I would have called it a
dragon.
Purple dragon.
You
Yeah,
would have called it a
okay.
dragon, okay?
That makes sense. So, oh, and he breathes fire too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't put that together. Okay,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
giant sci-fi
dragon.
purple dragon. He's Spyro's dad. No, that's not.
No. No.
Fan theories.
I love playing as the purple Charizard in Smash Bros. 4 and saying I'm Ridley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when we did our Pokemon battle in the live stream, I was like, "Look, guys, Ridley's in Smash," and they all got mad at me.
Like,
Yep.
no.
So, but yeah, so Ridley named after the director of Alien, Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
And the games are very moody, and by that I mean like the environment is very empty, and in fact in the first game, for most of it there's not even, well, either most of it or maybe even all of it, there's not even music. It's
No, there
just
is music everywhere.
There's music for.
oh yeah, okay,
So
but
there's no backgrounds. It's solid black.
that's
the feeling of
I knew there
emptiness.
I knew there was something that, yeah, the backgrounds are solid black, and the backgrounds in this are much more lush and filled out, but it's still, they communicate this sense of you are truly alone in this very hostile environment very, very well. And which Alien is, I think if you heard the name Alien and you hadn't seen the movie before, you knew nothing about it, you'd probably think, oh, this is a sci-fi movie. It's much more like a horror film.
Yeah,
that just
it's
takes
definitely
place
a horror film.
It's old school monster movie.
You don't see the monster all that much. Whatever. I'm not going to talk about movies. We're talking about video games.
Yeah.
Right.
I can go off for a while on movies. And sorry.
Oh yeah. We should make a podcast about movies, but so
Next week.
oh, and it says here, yes. It says here there's also the whole woman as a main protagonist fighting aliens, and I never even put that together. That was
strong
another
female
thing,
protagonist.
that was a link between the movie and these games.
Spoiler: Samus is a girl.
Yep.
Guys, what if Zelda was a girl?
No. Someone hang up on him. Just kick him out. He's done. Oh my!
That's
Hey,
fine. We did that last time, so it's fair enough.
it was rumored that in the new Zelda, maybe Link could be a girl. I guess it turned out to not be true.
Yeah, it was just
yeah.
a joke.
But yeah.
I remember that when the game was first announced.
Yeah, it was Ionuma. He was all like, "Yeah, maybe Link could be a girl," but like the humor didn't translate.
No.
And so he had to specify later. No, I was just joking.
Yeah.
Well, we did get Linkle in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
So,
Well, because everyone freaked out over the idea of Link could possibly be a female.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that basically female Link is a combination of Link and Tingle. I don't like that idea. That's the name. I just want to put that out there right now.
I don't know. Tingle is pretty weird. Like,
If,
I know.
effeminate.
That's why.
if Link and
Tingle is
had-
very effeminate. I think if you're going to feminize Link, that Tingle is a very good inspiration.
Yeah. Even though he's creepy and haunts my nightmares.
Yes.
Have you played a standalone game?
That
He does, and I
that
wanna
rupee
play it so
collecting thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Japan only?
Yeah.
Well, it was on DS, so it's not region locked.
Oh, okay. But no, I haven't played it. It looked creepy.
Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like-
he truly was the most terrifying thing about Majora's Mask. I don't care what anybody says.
I love Tingle. Sorry. I think he's great.
It's so creepy.
He's making fun of the otaku culture.
Is that what he's supposed to be? Is like making fun of
Totally,
otakus?
He's 30 years old and he still dresses like a kid. Like,
And he hangs from balloons.
and he hangs from balloons and
Because
bakes
all
them apps.
otakus hang from balloons, selling maps
Obviously.
to small
In
souls.
Wind Waker, he has 2 slaves working
Oh,
for
he
him.
does. I know that was like more. He was way weirder in Wind Waker. Like
So
it was.
weird.
I
He's
felt
in prison with
too
bones. Look at
Yeah.
the bones.
I know.
Like,
It's like
he murdered all those inmates that were there with Like,
I believe it.
yeah.
All because he stole a camera.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway. So we're talking about Metroid. We're going way off on single.
Yeah, before.
But we stayed in the horror theme, so
Yeah.
I think it works. So yeah, what were we talking about?
We mentioned how Samus is a woman, and I started to be funny.
That's where we were. So yes, and Samus, and we brought that up during the Tomb Raider episode when we were talking about strong female protagonists and
Exactly.
and how there might not be very many of them, but they are out there, and
the ones that are there, they are very famous.
The ones that are there, very good. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
just the problem is there are so many weak female support characters in video games. That's the real problem.
Indeed. So, and you can't even argue. Like we argued, not really argued, but presented that Lara Croft in Tomb Raider is very
The new Tomb
like in the old Tomb Raider is very hypersexualized.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Samus has never really been like that. She's always been in this suit.
No.
Now, yes, if you met certain criteria when you beat the game, she took the suit off and she was in this weird bikini thing. But it was so like it's just a bunch of pixel and very low detail, and you didn't see it very long.
Exactly.
Whole like 5 seconds.
Right, and just before the credits roll. Speaking of, this game from the very beginning has encouraged you to beat it quickly, even though speedrunning is, I wouldn't say like a very recent phenomenon. It's something
Since the advent of Twitch, really.
Yeah, it has become big, but Nintendo has kind of pushed that for this game from, when did this game come out? Did we say 94?
94.
Because the ending is different depending on how quickly you beat it.
How quickly you beat it and whether you save the alien guys.
Oh, well,
Unlike
that's
Gerard.
minor.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the completionist episode on Super Metroid, when he uploaded it first to screwattack.com, which, by the way, Screwattack is a power-up in the Metroid series.
Yes.
Yeah. Screwattack.com had a deal with the completionists. They're like, hey, you can release some episodes for us. And he's like, okay, cool. And so his first one was on Super Metroid because he really liked the game and the whole Screwattack tie-in. Well, he forgot to save the aliens. And so in his footage, like when Samus is escaping the planet, you don't see the little pixel of the aliens escaping the planet going the other way. And so people on the Screwtack forums freaked out. They're like, "You're not the completionist. You didn't save the aliens!" Rah! And
Oh
like,
my word!
Guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
It doesn't count towards your percentage. It's a little Easter egg thing. And so when he uploaded it to YouTube, he did save the aliens, but it became like a running joke. Like, you didn't save the aliens. You're not the completionist.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Some people.
Right?
People are crazy.
I know, over a pixel.
Yes.
Or-
It's literally like 1 pixel. Go beat it yourself and see.
Mhm. Now, if that little pixel, all you have to do for that is save the aliens, right? You don't have to beat it in a certain amount of time.
You just have to go in the room and make sure that, they get out.
Yeah.
Like, it takes like 2 seconds.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought. Now, if you're not super familiar with this game, but you're more familiar with the recent games, and by recent, I still mean fairly old, because Metroid hasn't had very many new games, but Prime had a similar feature, but it was based on how much of the game you completed and not how quickly you beat it. So if you beat it with 100% of the items, you got the full game ending, but if you beat it with, say, 70% of the items, you got less of the game ending. I want to say that there's like a secret ending for getting just the bare minimum items to beat it. So not getting all the health tanks, and only getting the weapon upgrades that you have to get to progress. Really? I think so. I'm not 100% positive about that. I just thought that I read that somewhere. But all that is to say, the tradition of the ending being different depending on how you play the game, or or in this case, how quickly you play the game, has been around at least since this one. I don't recall if that was a feature in the NES and Game Boy.
It was. I'm actually on the
quickly.
Metroid Wiki. There are 5 different ending screens where worst ending, Samus is still wearing her regular suit and she's facing away from the camera. And the best ending, she's in a bikini.
She's in a bikini and she waves at you. I think that's what, like 30 minutes?
Prime 2, best ending, she's in a bikini. Metroid. Did I say Prime 2? I said Metroid 2, Return of Samus on Game Boy. She's in a bikini. Super Metroid, she's in that weird leotard bikini thing. See, Metroid Fusion, she's shorts and a tank top. Yeah, in Prime, there are 3 endings. With less than 75% of the items, you just see the area blow up. She doesn't take her helmet off. With 75 to 99%, she takes her helmet off after things blow up. And then with 100%, you get a secret ending.
Okay. I don't know where I got that other thing from.
I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't played Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
I
played that
Zero
Prime.
Mission, she's in that shorts and tank top, but it's orange as opposed to black, like in Fusion.
Okay.
Which is where her kind of skimpy outfits come from in Zero Suit Samus and Super Smash Bros. 4.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're orange and black or dark blue, something.
Right. Because in Zero Mission, which is a remake of the one for NES, there's after you kind of play the NES game, then there's this extra portion where Samus is not in her suit. So she's in her, what Smash Brothers refers to as her Zero suit. And does she have that weird whip thing in that?
I don't know.
Remember.
I never played Zero Mission.
Okay, I had it and I really liked it, so I should know this. I know she had that little blaster thing that she has in Smash Brothers, but I don't recall if the whip was part of that game or not. It's possible that it was. And I said "and" like I had something to say, and then I really didn't. So I don't know what that was all about.
Reflex.
So that's we kind of got into the impact of the game a little bit, and the things that had an impact on this game was, of course, Alien. The series Metroid has actually, in conjunction with another game that is kind of similar to it in style, spawned a genre that we commonly refer to as Metroidvania.
Yes.
I tend to argue that because Metroid came out before Castlevania, we should really just be calling them Metroid-style games, but Metroidvania is sort of the...
I guess they came out within a couple months of each other.
They were very close, so it's not like Castlevania was influenced by Metroid, since they were probably being built at the same time.
Honestly, the original Metroid and the original Castlevania don't fall into the Metroidvania genre.
No.
If you want to get really particular, the games that do fall in that genre first in the franchise would be this game, Super Metroid, and then Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
And Symphony of the Night was on
PS1.
PS1.
Okay. Yeah. And if you're not familiar with this term or what we're talking about, what we mean is typically a 2D game, although Metroid Prime being in 3D would still fit into this, but most games like this are two-dimensional. And you have your map and your world, and it's not linear, so it's non-linear, and you're doing a lot of backtracking. You can actually see, probably more so in Metroid Prime because it's 3D than in the 2D games, but you can see areas that you can get to, you just might not be able to get to it yet. So there's a lot of making mental notes of, there's a missile upgrade up here in this ledge, but because I don't have the grappling hook yet, I can't get to it. So I need to remember this is here, and later when I come across the grappling hook, come back and get this item. And Metroid, Super Metroid specifically, made this popular, and then Castlevania continued it, like Joel said, with Symphony of the Night. So the industry kind of created this term Metroidvania that combines Metroid and Castlevania into one word, and that's what we call it. And so more modern games that fit into that would be Shadow Complex for Xbox 360, and I want to say it got a remastered version for Xbox One not too long ago.
It's technically based on some of the stuff. Dark Souls is kind of that way, a little bit, where it's like, okay, I can see I have to be here, but I don't have the thing yet, so I have to make a mental note.
There's a wonderful little indie game by Nicholas called Castle in the Darkness, and it is a Metroidvania. Oh, yeah. It is an ode to all things Nintendo.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is very Metroidvania, and I love it. And it's like $3 or something like that. If you don't own it on Steam, go get it. It's great. It's a 2-button game.
So it's an ode to Nintendo that's not on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Of course.
Exactly.
Nicholas, these are the same guys that worked on, I want to say, Super Meat Boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super Meat Boy.
Anyway.
I like that game.
It's super hard, by the way. If you
yeah.
Like,
well,
that's
Super Meat Boy
why
was
I love
super
it.
hard. So.
It's super hard. Like, you do have a health bar, but you could easily die in one hit. And, of course, spikes always kill you in one hit. And, and
because Mega Man.
Because Mega Man, yes. Like I said, all things Nintendo. Like,
yeah.
Let's check that. What was it called again?
Castle in the Darkness.
Castle in the Darkness. I don't even think I've heard of it, but I will.
Yeah, it's
check
great.
That out. Yeah. And you could make the argument that, I mean, even Zelda is like that. Not quite to the extent that Metroid is. I mean, because Metroid and Castlevania, it's all over the place. There's very rarely will you walk into a section of the game and have access to everything that's in that section immediately. Sometimes it might be, like, obviously we were seeing how quickly you could beat Super Metroid. I'd be 5 or 10 minutes down the road before you can come back and do this. But in longer games, like Metroid Prime takes several hours to beat. You might see an item, and it might be 3-4 hours later before you have access to it.
Yeah.
And so Zelda, I can't think of anything that was ever quite like that. Normally, if you see something and you can't get to it, whatever that's keeping you from getting to it can be solved within the room, or at the very least within the dungeon. So it's on a much smaller scale. Yeah.
But I know there's
like still exists.
Oh. Like in Twilight Princess, I know there's a couple times where it's like, oh, hey, there's a thing there that you need a certain item for that you don't have yet that you can come back for. More so with like the claw shots was primarily the main thing.
I know. I found like areas for the spinner long before I had it when I first played the game. Mm-hmm. I know in Ocarina of Time, the bottom of the well, if you're trying to go through that dungeon normally, like you need the item for the in the dungeon for that dungeon. Yes. So it's really confusing, and actually I hate that dungeon, and I memorized how to get to the item as quickly as possible and then just escape.
Yeah.
I think we all did.
But I can't say that every single thing that happens in Zelda is amazing, and that would be one of them. But at least it's not the water temple.
Yeah, right.
Water temple. Water temple can go die.
You ever break the water temple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a way to get stuck in it, and yeah. I did the it wasn't the water temple, it was the trials or whatever in the desert. No. It's the one, the Gerudo training ground. That's what
okay.
The Gerudo
ground. You can get stuck, and then
you can get stuck in that.
Oh well.
Because like after you get all the keys, like you can either go left or right. And I went left and was like, no, I changed my mind, and I went right. Well, I didn't have enough keys to finish because I wasted one. So yeah.
See, it's like you got to know. I stopped trying to go for the ice arrows just because I hate doing the.
It's totally not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like
You never need them in that game.
Not really. Yeah.
Indeed. So have we all beat this game? I've beat it one time.
I got super close, and then my file got corrupted.
Aw.
That seems to happen to me a lot. I don't know why.
Maybe you should stop corrupting your files.
I don't know
Stop
why.
turning
Though.
off your console while it's saving.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Other people do that to me. I don't do that. That's no. That's a sore point.
Nolan,
Okay.
clean your room. It's saving. No, now.
Not even that. That's the stupid part. Like literally, it was someone flipped it off because they were mad at me for something stupid. But
And then you stop being friends with them. At least I
Yeah,
hope.
well, no, it's my sister.
Oh, yeah, you kind of can't do anything about that.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, I know the ending, obviously, because this game is almost
22 years old.
Yep.
Not almost. It is more than 20 years old. That's right.
It's more or less a direct sequel to the Game Boy game.
Boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she saves that baby
She
Metroid.
saves the baby Metroid in at the end of that one, and then doesn't kill it.
Right.
So even though that's literally what she went to that planet for, was to
Yeah.
destroy all of them. It's like, oh, but it's a baby. Oh
Which means it won't grow up to later want to suck out my brains.
no, of course,
Right.
because that definitely doesn't happen in this game.
Which game is it that the baby winds up saving her? Is that the end of this one?
This
or
one.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I knew there was some
Spoilers.
like that. Yeah, oops. My bad. For
Okay.
22.
I'm not even gonna exaggerate. Like I've never played this game ever. I want to think.
Oh,
I've never
okay.
played this game. I meant to get it this week, and I just didn't have time. But I watched a Let's Play years and years ago, and I got really emotional when the baby died.
I think we all
Oh.
did.
Yeah.
And then just when I started playing Other M, and it's the prologue of Other M is
Oh
the
my
end
gosh,
of this
yes.
game, it was even more. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I haven't even started the game.
That was just like she kept going on about it. I'm like, yes, I know it sucks, it's sad, and then it's like she won't stop. I'm like,
It's more emotional because it's from a first person perspective, and
Yeah.
it's all in 3D and sound effects and everything. Oh my gosh.
that was
sorry.
bad. Well,
The only good
Because-
part of Other M is the beginning.
yeah,
Because it's based on this game, Super Metroid.
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, well, that I actually like the control scheme. The turn the Wii remote on the side and play it like it felt like you're on the NES. So I did like that about Other M, but
Yeah.
I've never liked the
Not
feeling of the
playing.
Wii remote turned on its side.
Yeah, it feels weird.
then I didn't like Other M because you had to do the hey, there's a thing, you have to search for it, and you have no idea what to look for, and if you're off by that much, you're not going to find it. So I spent an hour at the beginning of the game, not realizing I had to look at the sign that's on the ship, even though they didn't tell me what to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember getting
Made me
stuck at one
stop
point
playing.
early on and didn't like it.
Yeah.
I have Other M. I'm trying to think. There was one year right before Christmas, Toys R Us was doing buy two get one free or something like that. So I picked up Kirby's Epic Yarn,
Nice.
Other M, and at the time the only place you could get the new NBA Jam was on Wii because the arcade version on 360 and PS3 hadn't come out. Or no, it had come out, but you had to buy NBA Live to get it. You couldn't buy it by
Oh.
yourself. And I was like, well, I ain't doing that, so I'll just get the Wii version.
There you
The Wii version of NBA Jam was not that great because you can literally only control one of the players. So even if you're playing on a team by yourself and you pass the ball to the other player, you can't switch to that player. The
What?
computer will play. Yeah, it's
Really?
dumb.
That's
It's
not
so
NBA
dumb.
Jam.
I know. It's
That's
so
dumb.
dumb. And so I hated it, and I wound up later when they released it standalone for 360 and PS3. I bought it for 360, and it seemed like they fixed most of my problems with it. But anyway, so I had that, and I played it for a little while, and I didn't really care for it because of that and a few other problems it had. Even though Epic Yarn was incredibly easy, I still
Yeah.
really enjoyed it because it's just so gosh darn cute.
It's so
a
cute. I know
Kirby
it's
game.
and
Of
it's
course
chilled
fun
out.
and
Like
cute.
Yeah,
I
what
will
was it,
go and
Joel?
play like it's not Epic Yarn. What's the Canvas Curse or Rainbow Curse?
Yeah, well, those are
The Wii U one.
things.
Like
Oh, that's Rainbow. Is that Rainbow? Yeah, I think that's
I
Rainbow.
think
Curse.
so.
Rainbow Curse, yeah.
Like if I'm all stressed out about something or I'm upset or spent 4 hours playing Dark Souls and life sucks, I'll like go play
Just some color.
cutesy Kirby and it's like, oh,
Right.
it's nice.
It's
Everything
relaxing.
is fine. Just
And happy.
hey, life is good. Yeah.
Yeah. But then so I got other M in that group, and I've opened it. I've never once put it in my Wii or Wii U, so I don't know. Other than just all the hate that it gets, I don't know anything about it.
Okay, the hate that it gets is they've taken Samus, this strong female protagonist, and
Yeah.
they've reduced her down to having to take orders from like she has all her abilities, but she's
Yeah.
not allowed to use them until
Yeah, I
she's
heard
been
that.
authorized.
And that's
That
And-
was stupid. Like
And so that's what makes everybody upset is like you've taken this feminist icon and reduced her down to a subservient character.
right.
and that prologue sequence with like the baby, it's like they make her seem like she's not, super BA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost actually said it.
And
Um,
she's a bounty hunter that works on her own. So what
Yeah.
the heck is she doing taking orders from anybody?
I
Exactly.
think that was from Zero, or not Zero. Fusion. I think they
Yeah,
started
because in
that.
Fusion she had this guy
It's the same
was
character.
talking. Now you still had to find all of your power ups.
Yeah.
Okay, I wondered that. But yeah, he's not telling you like you can't use this right now. You still had to find it. But yeah,
Of
when I
course.
heard that was the reason for your not having access to everything at the beginning, I was like, that's like the dumbest thing. What
Yeah.
were they smoking? But anyway, that's okay. Nintendo had I think they're finally coming around, and I think, I don't know, they had this period during the late years of the Wii and kind of the early years of the Wii U where it just seemed like, I don't know, it was like, who the heck is driving this ship? I don't get it, but hopefully that's coming to an end with NX and whatever. Of course, I say that, and I have
Hopefully.
no idea what it is. So,
Yeah.
Reggie did an interview with, it was like Business Insider or something like that, kind of toward the end of E3, and the lady asked him, Microsoft's got the Scorpio coming out, and there's of course the PS4K, whatever that's going to be, which they didn't talk about at E3. What's the NX going to be? And he said, we're not worried about specs, we're worried about content. And I'm like, normally I'm on
Good
board
job,
with you, and
Reggie.
I've been on board with that for pretty much the entire time Nintendo has been around. But I'm starting to think that if you're ever going to pull in your third-party support, which you obviously need, or you're not going to be successful, you've got to at least be comparable in power to what else. You don't have to beat them.
Oh yeah.
You just have to be close.
I'm
or
sure
It's just not
that
gonna
it
work.
would be. I mean, if not,
Yeah.
then yeah.
I don't know. But I guess that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
Do y'all have anything else to add about this game? Because I really don't.
I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I know,
Yeah,
like
it's-
Let's talk about the music for
On-
a minute.
yeah,
We kind
Okay,
of touched on it, but like
That's right.
this game is where the iconic music for all the other Metroid games came from.
that's true.
There was the lava theme.
Mhm.
I
What
can't
is that?
remember what it's called.
Norfair?
Norfair. That's
Okay,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's, the opening music and just like the really like ambient tones and things
Mhm.
like that. Like, you just you hear,
Lost in space
music-
by yourself.
yeah, and you you just know it's Metroid. Like, there's a Skillet song I think that has some weird ambient tones in it, and I'm just like, that sounds like Metroid music.
I wonder if they sampled it, because that'd be cool.
That would be legit. I know John Cooper is an old school gamer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he is.
I went to a concert last year with my nephew, and he's like talking about Castlevania and stuff. So it's
Nice.
like yeah,
Maybe he's a fan.
that'd be legit.
That would be
Oh
pretty
my
awesome.
gosh, I would freak out so much. Sorry.
Oh, I'm trying to think of, because I know like you said, there's the music kind of in the very first area. It's also I guess you would call it the overworld music from Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
And Prime uses the Norfair theme. But those are the only two that I find recognizable. I'm sure there are others that get used.
Well, there's there's a couple other ones that like
there's all the fanfares for when you collect power ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
Its version of You Found a Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like before we started, I was looking up, OST, the OST for Super Metroid, just like what's a good song like, to do the opening and stuff. Because I already knew what I was ending it on. That was not even a question.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few really cool ones here. Like there's the intro. I like Brinstar Depths.
Oh yeah.
I like the Brinstar ones. They're like when you get there, like when you first get to the colony there, and it's just it's very quiet at first. It's just there's all the doctors that are dead.
Yeah.
And then or the escape theme that was a big one too. Like hey, the whole place is gonna blow up. Dun 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 dun. Or no, that's really. It sounded vaguely, but yeah, like there's
Right.
a lot of really cool music in here that they did a good job with.
Yeah, and I don't imagine the soundtrack is very big.
It's not really. I mean, like most of it, like the OST, the entire OST is about an hour long.
Right.
So it's not super duper like, it's not Twilight Princess status. It's like 7 hours of music, which is weird because most of it sounds similar. But
right.
yeah. Yeah, Norfair, Meridia. There's then Mother Brain's theme is pretty good too. But then there's Ridley's theme, which is just fantastic, and I love Ridley's theme so much.
I can't. I'm sure I know it if I'd heard it.
Oh, I'm sure you would.
Because I'm sure it gets used in every Metroid game. Oh, yeah. And it's the level that he's in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it'll play
is
that.
Playing in the... Okay, I knew there was something, so...
Yeah.
I just didn't know what.
Like, one of my favorite video game covers is that this guy, Little V, did Ridley's theme, and it's fantastic. It's a metal cover, so if you're not into that, then,
Who in the world would not be into that?
It's really...
I don't want to know these people, whoever they are.
Yeah.
Just kidding. If you don't like metal, I'm sure you're a fine individual in your own way. I'm not one of those people that's like, you don't like this, you must hate babies.
You must hate babies and punch kittens in the face.
I wouldn't so much have a problem with that last one, but no, kidding. I don't like cats, but not so much that I want people to punch them in the face. That's mean.
You should specify.
I just want to eat them. No.
That's an inside joke. People won't get.
Nope. They won't. But you listen to this podcast long enough, I'm sure eventually you'll be in on it, and
Yeah, probably.
Sure, it'll come up eventually. So, well, sounds like we're kind of winding down here.
Some trivia. So,
okay.
Because I noticed there was 0 things.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if there was any.
So I just found an IGN article real quick.
Okay.
So does the name? Gosh, now suddenly I can't remember it. Justin Bailey. Does the name Justin Bailey mean anything to you?
I know that I know it, and I know if you tell me who he is, I'll be like, oh yeah, but I can't.
Not a real person. It's a password in the original Metroid game.
What? Okay.
Yes. If you put in Justin Bailey as the first two words, and then the last line is just all spaces, you get to use like basically Zero Suit Samus in the original Metroid. Yeah, but that only is available in the North American version of the original Metroid. It's not
interesting
in the Japanese version.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Since Metroid was first released as a Famicom Disk System title in Nintendo's home country, it had save slots to record players' progress and no password system.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was actually wondering about that because, of course, the Super Metroid has saves, being on the Super Nintendo. Does the Game Boy have save slots?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I never played it.
No, the Game Boy... Wait, the Game Boy game or the Game Boy NES?
The Game Boy game, the Metroid 2.
Yeah, Metroid 2 Return of
Samus. I can't remember if it has...
Return of the Jedi! No.
Return of the Jedi. Let's see.
Anyway, here's another bit of trivia. The Morph Ball exists because of a lack of programming skill. Back in the day, they couldn't figure out how to get Samus to crawl on all fours. So they just turned her into a ball. And it's been part of the Metroid lore ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the connection with Ridley Scott and the Alien franchise.
Yes.
The Chozo creatures that give Samus her powers are birds.
Giant birds.
Yes, they are.
Alien birds.
Samus's dad's name is Rodney.
Samus has a dad?
Oh. Well, I mean, I assume she's got parents somewhere.
But yeah, there's apparently a manga that's all about her backstory and things.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, her dad's name is Rodney.
I know that Prime goes a lot into her backstory because there's this feature where you can scan things that you find on the wall. I never bothered to read much of them because they were very, very wordy.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to know a lot about the Metroid lore, Prime is an excellent source. I'm sure someone on the internet has all that typed out if you just want to go look it up. But actually, my sister-in-law a while ago sent me some site, like a blog, that had a very detailed, like the story of the Chozo and how they, whatever catastrophe it was that happened to that species so that they're all extinct now, and just have the ruins and the statues and their relationship with Samus and the power suit and all that stuff. So there's... for as light on story as most of the Metroid games are, there's a lot out there for you to learn and research if that's your cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Because nerds be nerds and we like our lore.
That we do.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why Warcraft got a movie.
Yeah, which I heard it's not fantastic, but I
was planning on seeing it. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I asked a friend of mine who's super into Warcraft, and he's all like, I specifically asked him, if you don't know anything about Warcraft, would you like the movie? And he goes, you won't get all the little details, but overall it's an alright movie.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Anyway, so last bit of trivia for Metroid. The power suit is actually held together by Samus's mental fortitude. If she can't concentrate hard enough, she loses the suit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's got anything to do with why at the beginning of pretty much every game, except the first one, something horrible happens and she loses all her powers.
I don't know.
She loses her concentration. That got me.
Maybe.
But I did not know that. You would think, like, a couple screws would fix that problem, but whatever. I didn't build it. I know.
It's damaging.
Yeah, it's not purely mechanical. There's something mental going on with the power suit also.
I never knew that.
Huh.
Very weird.
Yeah.
So that's it for trivia, unless you guys know more.
No,
I know
other than
it's like, yeah. I know this is like on. This game is on most like best video game of all time lists, on the internet.
Mhm.
So it's I actually checked that out. It was on like I want to say like I think it was like 37 different lists on various websites of like within top whatever.
Yeah.
Also,
I wonder what its Metacritic score is.
Metacritic is not on there. Dang it. Okay, I was like, hey, I'm looking at this. No, I'm not.
Super Metroid. Because surely it has a
I'm sure.
Metacritic score.
I'm also reading here that apparently Super Metroid did not do well in Japan when it first came out.
Yeah, I want to say the series in general is not super popular over there because, obviously its biggest influence is a Western movie.
Yeah.
Being Alien. It has a user score on Metacritic of 9.5. I'm going to assume that's out of 10 and not out of 100 because that would be sad if it was.
I would say that's wrong then.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But because even though I wouldn't say that it's one of my favorite games, it's certainly good and solid and very influential in that it spawned its own genre along with Castlevania. So it's it certainly didn't like change the industry or anything like Super Mario Brothers or The Legend of Zelda, but it's left its mark, and people still clamor for these kinds of games, even though Nintendo doesn't seem terribly interested in making them. But I would say that even though Samus is a very recognizable character and Metroid is a very recognizable series, none of the games that are in it have ever performed super well. Prime probably did better than most, simply because it's just kind of mind-boggling when it came out. You go from a 2D side-scrolling game to not just a 3D game, shooter, but to first person.
Yeah.
And so that was
like this game series is based a lot on platforming. Like it's not specifically a platformer, but there's a lot of platforming going on. So how do you take a platforming game and turn it into a first-person game? And they did it really well.
Yeah.
Like I was surprised. So
the only time I've ever had trouble platforming in that is in Prime is the very last section before you go to fight the final boss.
Metroid Prime.
Yes, there's a section of platforms you have to jump to, and because you're also fighting off a endless stream of Metroids, like it does not matter how many of these things you kill, they're going to keep coming. I found doing that platforming to be very difficult. I'm sure if the Metroids hadn't have been there, it would have been fine, but you're distracted by these parasites that are trying to latch onto your head and suck out your life force.
It's not
they're
bad
not
enough
just normal Metroids either in that game.
Yeah, they're like
part.
they're
There's special
like
ones where you have to use special weapons against them, and it's super annoying, and they'll split in two, and
just so frustrating.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I never had a problem with the platforming in that game. It's just really good. It's a wonder that this little studio from Texas that no one had ever heard of and was handed over this monster franchise by Nintendo was able to pull that off. So I hope we get more Metroid games in the future.
Hopefully.
I'm not sure that we ever will, but hey, who knows? Someone
I'm
might
sure we will
pull it out. Yeah, eventually someone might pull it out. And I mean, Retro revived it, and they brought back Donkey Kong Country of all things. So
exactly.
Who knows? Maybe it'll happen.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, are we ready to play 20 questions?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I actually picked the game. Nolan.
Okay.
No, it's cool. So if you're joining us for the first time, we play 20 questions to figure out what the game is that we're going to play next week. So I know what the answer is. Joel and Nolan do not, and so they're going to ask me. They have 20 yes or no questions that they can ask me before they have to guess what the game is, and whatever the answer is what we're going to play next week, and you all should play it with us. So go ahead, gentlemen. Let me have it.
Is it a multi-platform game?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Is it a Nintendo game?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it an NES game?
No.
Is it designed or not designed? I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Designed by Nintendo.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you might have been looking for developed, but yes.
Developed. That's definitely what I meant. Not
But,
designed.
yes, it's a Nintendo developed game.
Okay.
Is it a Super Nintendo game?
No.
Okay.
Let's see. Is it a side-scrolling game?
No.
Is it an N64 game?
No.
Okay, so it's a GameCube game.
Is it on a handheld?
No.
Okay.
It's a GameCube game.
Well, I wanted to make sure just in case.
Okay.
So that's 8 questions.
Yeah.
Okay, is it a Zelda game?
Yes.
Okay, we've narrowed it down to 2 possible titles. Flip a coin, Nolan.
Flip a coin. Let's see.
Just pick one of them.
Yeah,
Like, there's 2.
I was trying to just not go for the game. Just be like, hey, does it have this? Do you turn into a wolf in the game?
No, you do not.
Okay, is it Wind Waker?
Yes, it's Wind Waker.
Cool.
Yay!
Yay!
I knew after the big Zelda reveal at E3, I knew I wanted to do a Zelda game, and I knew I wanted to either do Wind Waker or Twilight Princess because the art style of Breath of the Wild kind of looks like they took Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and just kind of smashed them together, which I think is kind of what they were going for with Skyward Sword, and the Wii didn't really allow for that to happen quite the way.
You know what's actually really cool? I have the component cables for my Wii, so not the composite red, blue, red, white, and yellow, but like the red, green, blue with the red and white. Anyway, and I plugged it into my tube TV, which has amazingly composite input. I mean, component input.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it was really vibrant and looked good on my tube TV.
Wow.
But then I plugged it into my HD TV, and it didn't look good.
Yeah, it's all washed out. And
yeah. So anyway,
yeah. But yeah, so I wanted to do that. I'll also I saw some pictures. Of course, people when a new game comes out and they want to get real crazy with the detail. People have zoomed in really close to some of the textures that are in Twilight Princess HD and found that there are symbols from Wind Waker kind of all over the stone and stuff like that. And I actually almost picked Twilight Princess because then I could play Twilight Princess HD and work on my wolf amiibo for when Breath of the Wild comes out. But I just really was like, I just really want to play Wind Waker again because it's just so dadgum good. And I have Wind Waker HD, and it's so beautiful.
Right? Remember when I first got that, I was like, this is so nice to look at. Oh my gosh.
That's what a remaster should be. It takes the game and it kind of makes it look like what you remember it looking like when you played it as a kid, and
but better.
So gorgeous. So yeah, I want to play some Wind Waker. I have it for GameCube, but since I have it on the Wii U, I'm going to play it on Wii U because they're practically the same game. There are some subtle differences, but yeah. So that's that. Play Wind Waker. It's on GameCube. It's on Wii U. In fact, if you buy it pretty quickly at the time that we're recording this, it's on the eShop. It's 10% off its normal price. So after tax, it's still under $30.
Yeah.
Which is
pretty nice.
Well worth it, I would.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yep. So there you go. That's gonna do it for us. Time for us to say goodbye and let everybody know where you can find us. So Nolan, where are you hanging out at on the internet?
Yeah. So you can find me on the internet at Baseman214, Baseman21491, or Icy White Falcon. And that's YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Xbox, Steam, all those things. I know my Nintendo stuff it's way different for some reason. I forget why, but yeah. Cool.
And Joel, where can we find you?
Anywhere you can find me on the internet, you can find me under Obi-Wan Kenobi. Places like Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. Just look for Obi-Wan Kenobi and you can find me. I'm also on Miiverse and PSN and Steam and Origin. So.
And all that stuff. You can find me at facebook.com/AboveParProductions, Twitter at PatrickProper, twitch.tv/HugeCowPatty, PatchCowandRyan.com, and from the website you can find both of my YouTube channels. You can find Original Gamers Podcast at Official OGcast on Twitter, twitch.tv/Original Gamers Podcast. I'm probably going to wind up using that this week because I can stream my Wii U, and I'll try to stream some Wind Waker HD to that. And you can find us on Instagram at official.ogcast. And LJ does a fantastic job of keeping that up to date. And we're always looking for more ways to expand our wonderful influence and faces and voices all over the internet so that you can find us anywhere and everywhere. And I mean, I always say that being serious about it, but I do think that very soon, especially after the summer is over and I have much more time, we're definitely going to be sitting down and talking about some really cool things that we want to do. We want to be, one of the things that I want to do, and this has always kind of been on my heart, is I like to be charitable. I like to give money away. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of money, so what I try to do is give other people's money away. And that's through fundraising. So we're definitely going to be talking about how we can get involved with fundraising because the gaming community is a very charitable place. There's charities like Extra Life and Child's Play that the Penny Arcade guys run and all kinds of other things. So we're definitely going to be talking about being able to participate in at least one of those, if not more of them. So stay tuned for that. And please share this with your friends. Tell your friends and family that like retro games about this podcast. And if you are a premium subscriber, we want to first thank you for being a premium subscriber, but also the content for premium subscriptions has been kind of light. And with my wedding and people traveling and stuff, that's kind of been why. But we're going to get back on the ball, getting those pumped out at least once a week going forward. So thank you for that. If you're not a premium subscriber, please consider subscribing. You only have to give us $1 a month to get access to all that good stuff, but you of course can give us as much money as you want. We will not say no to your cash because we like cash. So anyway, that's going to do it for us. Play some Wind Waker and join us next week. We'll see you then. Have a good week.
So at the beginning, you guys heard the title thing.
Oh yeah.
To this game.
Way to go, Nolan, so, being on top of it.
Yeah, right. Which is just that feeling of it's very alien-like. Like it's you're alone in space kind of thing, which is what I like. And then to end it off with, I am not doing the final boss music because as cool as Mother Brain's theme is in this game, I much prefer Ridley's theme. It's like it's my favorite Metroid theme of all time. So you guys can enjoy that. And the awesomeness of fighting dragons. So
Sweet.
yeah.
Okay. Now goodbye, and that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Bye, everybody.
Be good, humans.
It was weird. I guess they advertise a lot on Nickelodeon, because they were talking about the Splatoon commercials, and I was like, wait, there are Splatoon commercials? I didn't even know this.
Apparently.
There's like a little song to go along with it.
You're a kid now. You're a squid now. Yeah,
Is that it?
that's it. You're
Oh.
a kid. You're a squid. You're a kid. You're a squid. Yeah, that's
Oh.
that's the song.
I learned something else new today.
You can put that in the bloopers.
Yes.